Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all. I hope everyone had a good weekend, a good Corpus Christi weekend. Beautiful weather here in New York City. It was great to get outside and just walk around the park. Wish I could have gone to a beach, but it was a little farther away. Can't exactly just walk to them. But yeah, welcome back. We're going to be diving back into Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Where in the world is Revan San Diego? Hey, I get the reference. That is, in fact, where I get it from. Hey, good to see you, Fused Man. It's such a perfect greeting. I actually just use it at church, especially like if someone comes in and they're like, "Oh, good morning," and it's evening. They're like, "Oh, hi, good morning," or "Good evening," and they get all flustered. You just respond right back with "Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night," and just makes them feel comfortable. It's good. It's a great response. You were also the first person to say that. I know others in chat know that reference, but you're the first person to say that, and I love that. But yeah, we're going to be diving back into Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. So last time, why is that locker whimpering? Oh dear. It's not a thing you want to see. Last time we finished everything on Tatooine. We defeated the giant dragon. And we came here to Manon to do more stuff, to find the other clue.
Is somebody out there? Fishy, fishy, fishy. Come and eat me too. You can't get me, little fishy.
Oh, right.
Come here. I'm safe behind my walls.
Okay, I remember what's happening on Manon. Like, it's a world with a lot of water, and there's like justice, and so there's the Sith, and there's the Republic, and they're fighting. But then like the people are like, no, you can't do this. We fired our lawyer, and that was actually the key to success, because if we didn't, we were executed. And then we were sent to this undersea base to do research, and it looks like zombie fish have attacked it. It's about what I remember. Also, I forgot to do this at the top of the show, but I want to give a shout out to Saint Waffles for following. Thank you, Saint Waffles. Good to have you here. Why don't you come out of there?
Like that, wouldn't you? I walk out and bam! Cellcats swarm in from everywhere, ripping and rending. Fishy moves fast and silent. No, my friend. I don't play that game. I've got a winning hand right here in this room. My room. No fishy for me. When the Cellcat went insane and started killing everybody.
This is a perfectly coherent sentence.
I'm safe in here.
Conversation.
In here. No fishy food for me.
I'll force persuade. You want to come out? You'll feel safe with us. No!
No, that's what the others said. Mercenaries like you, but they're dead. The Cellcat ate them. Lunchy munchy. Only the ones left.
Why do I have high charisma and the force for if I can't force persuade people?
Few fishies there. But
what is
many
this?
Fishies in between the water. No, only.
What made the Cellcat insane?
Go ask them. When the demon screamed, it shook every mind in the station. We fell to the ground but survived. Fishies, though, they just got hungry.
You don't sound terribly sane.
No. Only the...
Hey, Etiquette. Good to see you.
No, only...
I'll just have to leave you in there.
Go look for fishy people. They'll chomp and bite and chomp and bite. Food for fishy. That's you.
Well. Hope your travels are going well, Nanakit. Okay, where do we still have to go on here? So that's where we started. Looks like we've kind of, well, airlock, but that's just going to take us out to the water. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Do I just have to keep trying to get this guy out of the locker? problem is not having played this in like 2 weeks, I guess? 3 weeks? Yeah, I guess I took 2 weeks off, so it's been 3 weeks. It's hard to remember where things are, what we're doing. Oh, hey. Blue door. Hey, how about you come disable the mine since you're good at explosives and things?
Sure.
Construction kit. Why do I have a bad feeling about opening a thing labeled pressure door? Warning, hostile environmental conditions. Environmental suit advised. You only have one enviro suit available. If you proceed through the airlock, all party members will have to stay behind until you return. Well, I think we found the plot. This is the height of fashion. Oh, hello, Survivor. I notice I have no combat options, so that makes me feel both comfortable and scared.
Who's there? You're not Cellcath, I can see that much. Are you another rescue crew?
I am Karth Devon, here to
I'm a
investigate.
merc the Republic hired a couple days ago to investigate. But all we found was a bunch of insane Cellcath killing everything that moves. All my companions are dead. The Cellcath swarmed over us. There were dozens of them. And they looked wrong somehow. Like something had changed inside them. Insane or something. Oh, I'd have gone back to the surface long ago if this complex hadn't been overrun by all those crazy Cellcaths. There's no way for me to get to the submarine docking bay.
Oh, we've cleared the path.
I discovered a way to get to the bay and seal off the rest of the base. I just have to find the Kolto harvester they built on the edge of the Hrackert Rift. It's got an emergency override to open the doors to the submarine docking bay. And I could get in from the outside. I figured my only chance was to slap on an environment suit, head out onto the ocean floor, and check that harvester out for myself. Besides, it's gotta be safer out on the ocean floor than back in there with all those crazed Cellcath mutants running around looking for dinner.
Yeah, I'll go with you. Good to see you, Brayherd Lord. No, I completely forgot about Yavin, to be honest. I should probably go after this, this planet. I might explain why I'm pretty weak, because I don't have great gear. But yeah, so, I'll come with you.
Another minute in this facility.
And yeah, this movement is slow.
Psychotic fish people all over the place. I'm heading out to the ocean floor right now. It leads to another complex of buildings. Going through them is the only way to reach the Kolto harvester. We should probably stick together, but I won't wait around in here with the Cellcath. You can catch up with me if you want. Down the hall and through the doors on the right. I'll be waiting on the ocean floor where it's safe.
You know, he didn't even introduce himself. We never got a name. How rude. It may be the height of fashion, but it is not the height of practicality.
Come on, hurry up. Don't just stand there, we have to keep moving. The water is filled with... Ow! Ah!
His voice just changed. Like... Yeah, he was very rude, and for that, he was eaten by fish. But also, he just... His voice... not just like his voice, but like his voice actor changed. Hey, Catholic Brit, good to see you. And now I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. Do I need to put your fish? I have a sonic emitter. It's the only thing I can activate. I feel like that will come in handy. I'm doing well, and yourself? I was right. It does come in handy. The good guy way of going through this part is one of two most needlessly annoying puzzles in the game. Oh, good. We love needlessly complex puzzles around here. Fishy, fishy, fishy. No more fishy. You're doing well, very stressed. Oof. 6 articles due in a week and a half, that's a lot. Oof. Well, prayers for swift writing and swifter editing. I suppose that is the time of year, sacrament season, and a lot of other stuff going on. And okay, I want to go about this somewhat sanely. Oh, there's a lot of them. This could be a problem. For people to be swift at answering me and responding to questions. Yeah. All interviews. None of them involve sacraments. Oh, okay. Oh, look, we died. Hope you liked that section, chat. Going back.
What?
Nope, no, we're going to ignore the patrol droid.
What?
Yes, yes, yes. Fortunately, we can just click through all the conversations. One about people who choose NFP instead of IVF. One about ways to strengthen your faith amid the busyness of life. I think you can speak very well from experience on that one, then.
Who's there?
Q&A with Catholic
You're not
Doctor's
so
Office, one
Catholic,
parish
I can see
celebrating
that
100
much.
years. That's
Are
great.
you another
Congrats to them. One is a news brief about fall events. Ooh, that's a lot. water is filled with screams, apparently. Seeing the names of these monsters makes me want to make a Phyrexian joke. You see this? Hey, that's always nice when you get to write the article you want. Ah, for the school year, very nice. So we tried the left door previously, and that didn't work. So let's try the door on the right this time. I have a feeling there are fish behind both of them. You could just try the left door again. I could just try the left door again. Also, good to see you, Gale. How you doing? You're tired? We went camp. Ooh. You have fun camping? Why does this look exactly the same? Ah, I didn't actually want to alert you. Was it just you and the wife who went camping, or did you go with friends? Place some mines, yeah, I was thinking about that. But they saw me when I was trying to move into position. So I panicked. Because line of sight is a little weird in this game. We went with friends. Can you tiring being around a bunch of drunk people when you yourself are not also drunk? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How do I place a mine? I don't think I've actually done that yet this game. Ah, right there.
Whoever steps on this will get a nasty shot. Didn't work.
Ow. Camera. Well, just fight back. Fight the poison. Okay, taking them out one at a time is a lot easier. I'm saving here. I am absolutely save scumming right there.
Whoever steps on this, nasty shot.
Mines are rarely useful, but yeah, I think it's because of the way you have to set them up that it proves difficult. But this is definitely a case where it's done some heavy lifting. No, I'm trying to move away. There we go. Antidote. Time to lurk while you write things. Lightsaber sounds, music to your ears. Well, I hope it helps you write. Buzz swing and all that. All right. Well, that worked out much better. I still need to learn to use the adrenal stuff. I'm so bad at that. I'm not gonna lie. I will totally own the fact that I do not play this game well. Most energy shields don't work against sonic blasters. Dang it! So it's all in my head to make me feel better. Hello, can I talk to you?
No, you can't come in here. You'll let the Firaxa and the Selkath in. No, stay out! Stay out!
You just got obsessed with
Won't
it.
let you
That's
open
fair.
the door for those monsters to get in. I'll stop you. I'll suck all the pressure out of the chamber. That'll stop you.
Kill them! Kill them now!
60 seconds to complete
Whoa.
pressurization.
Whoa! Hold on.
54 seconds to complete.
Deactivate depressurization sequence.
No. The Firaxa will get us. No, the Selkath are coming. No.
No! Ah!
I'm a friend. I'll protect you.
I'm sorry for what I did. I don't know what came over me. I just panicked.
You got
when I
scared.
heard
It's
someone
okay.
outside the door. Please forgive me.
Actually, it's not okay. You kind of got a little
So
bloodthirsty
scared.
when you had a
Both
force
just
field.
scared.
When the Selkath went crazy, I thought everyone else except me and Sammy went mad. We had a few people outside the station when it happened.
The Frax and Sharks just tore them apart. It was like they were frenzied.
The next thing we knew, our Selkath researchers started screaming and clawing at everything around them. My team was torn apart and eaten before my eyes. Sammy and me, I thought we were the only
Okay,
ones
you guys
left.
have
We heard the
PTSD.
Selkath outside the
We're gonna get you a
doors every
therapist
once in
when
a
we get out of
while.
here.
Strange
Maybe do some
noises
EMDR.
echoing through the base.
We thought everyone was dead or insane. I must have been hysterical. I don't know what I can say. I truly apologize for the horrible mistake I was making.
I'm Kono Nolan, and this is Sammy. We were scientists working here on the Harakard Rift project.
What was the Republic doing
We
here?
had a secret agreement with the moderates in the Selkath government. They knew that Manan could not survive independently if the Sith were victorious.
Those thugs would wipe out the whole damn planet just to get at the Kolto.
So the Republic approached them about making this secret installation to harvest more Kolto, where the Sith couldn't see us. But all that went horribly wrong.
Anyway, have you seen a star map?
I don't know anything about a star map down here.
But there were some ruins that were excavated when we were digging the foundations for the last section of the Kolto harvesting machine.
But we can't go anywhere near those now. Maybe that's why it all happened in the first place.
Something happened in the
We don't
ruins?
know. Not for sure.
The work teams were outside in the rift near the vent. Then there was this rumbling and my head felt like it was splitting open.
This monster rose up from the rift.
It was a Firaxa shark, I think. Bigger than anything I'd ever seen before. Bigger than our submersibles.
It was like it was
Okay, deep sea
screaming inside my
gigantism,
head.
cool.
Then all the Selkath started screaming too. And they turned on us.
So we have an angry psychic shark. He was protecting
May.
something?
May have been. Maybe it was protecting the ruins by the rift. It could have been. It might have a lair in the Harakard Rift near the Kolto vent. That might explain a few things too.
Like what?
Like why it reacted so violently when our construction efforts got closer to the vent. And also, why it's so large. It must be feeding off the Kolto. Would have to be ancient indeed for it to reach that size. With Kolto as a food source.
And all those other Phyraxan sharks? Those might be its offspring.
Which would be why they all swarmed when it called out to them. Children coming to protect their mother.
Okay. So what can I do about it?
Phyraxan sharks have always been a serious problem. We had some blasters and projectile cannons to defend against them, but they still got some of our workers from time to time.
We were working on a soluble chemical compound that would drive them away. Something that smelled or tasted repulsive to them, but we never got it working right.
Oh, I think not. Even flawed like it is, it should be ideal for this situation.
No,
I don't know
it's
about
not
ideal.
working right. You don't know what it'll do.
What
The
compound?
repellent we made was supposed to drive Phyraxan sharks away, but we never got very far in its development. The one we tested instead was violently toxic to them, rupturing their outer skin in seconds and preventing them from drawing oxygen from the water by clogging their intakes.
Which is exactly what we need in this situation. Something to kill that monster shark that destroyed our station.
But we don't know how else the chemical reacts. We only tried it in a controlled environment. In the open ocean, who knows what it could do? It could even affect the Kolto.
We know exactly what it'll do. It'll kill the shark. That's what we designed it to do.
What else could I
You
do?
don't need to do anything else. We have a canister of the toxin here right now. We were working on it before the giant Phyraxan drove all the Selkath insane. All you need to do is insert it into the main Kolto harvester and have it vented. Get away as soon as you can. We don't know how much worse it'll affect the giant Phyraxan shark.
What other choice do
Well,
I
the
have,
monster
though?
seems to have been driven out by the machinery we installed at the edge of the rift. We've seen it out there on the cameras, bashing itself against the machines. I think if you could destroy the machinery we installed, the shark would calm down and retreat back into its lair inside the rift.
How would I do that?
You can reprogram the harvesting machines to overpressure their self-oxidizing fuel, so that the fuel tank canisters will rupture and the
Is
entire
this the
machine
puzzle
will
Brayherd?
destroy itself. The hydrolium
Figuring out
gas
how to do
we
that?
use
Oh,
is
no.
a gas at 1 to 3 million sangin, a liquid at about 4 million sangin, and a solid above that.
What's
when
a
it's a liquid,
sangin?
it's very explosive. If you inject enough of the hydrolium gas into the tank, the pressure will be so great that it'll turn to liquid form and start a chain reaction inside the machine.
But we'll lose everything we've built here. All those years of work.
It's better than whatever your chemical will do to the water.
I have a feeling. I don't want to kill them. What? That's a drastic choice. I'm going to guess. Yeah, killing is easy. There are some problems though. Just dumping random chemicals into the ocean and killing a giant ancient beast. Like, we don't know what that'll do to the ecosystem. That seems like a bad idea. Well, puzzle it is.
Good. Destroying the machinery will be better in the long run. We can't risk damaging the environment or the Kolto. You'll have to break into the computer on the harvesting machine and fiddle with the fuel injectors to get the tank pressure up to the point where the hydrolium will liquidize. Once the machinery is gone, the shark should leave.
That won't work and you know it. We have to vent the toxin from the harvesting machine. Once the shark is dead, we can get back to mining the Kolto. You know what you have to do.
I just hope you make the right choice.
Okay, so normally, this is interesting actually from a writing perspective, because this game often will present its choices in such a way where it's like you can guess, or it's like, okay, killing them is obviously the evil choice, but you can also kind of see like, maybe this, maybe that, but this one is like, they have ham-handedly said, this is the right thing to do. So the Selkath ban you from ever returning, and medkits get a lot more expensive. That makes sense. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. Y'all want to save before touching the machine? I think I just want to save in general. But, you know, I kind of rely on med packs. I mean, yeah, I have force heal now, which is nicer, but I don't really want inflation to be hitting my... I don't want inflation to be hitting and affecting my med packs. No, stop walking. Stop walking. Also, I like how that one Cellcath was just looking the wrong way. Sorry, guys. I need to get through here. Can you stop poisoning me, please? Thank you. Okay, so that's, I guess, the other door. Because that's where I entered. So that would have been the left door, that would have been the right door. So I guess where I need to go is out the door behind them. Yes, yes, yes. I'll put on my suit. Okay, that's the Kolto control panel. Let's see what that does. I'm guessing that would be the easiest way. Just like come here, inject the poison, and be like, okay. Excess fuel tank pressure control. Unstable at 4 million Sengen. Pressure would rupture container pod. Pressure control is the good guy thing. Yeah. Yep. Wow. I wonder where I am. Fuel injector pod at 0 of 3 million Sengen. Container pod at 0 of 5 million Sengen. So I really need... Oh no, it's one of these, isn't it? I have to balance it between the two. Transfer from container to injector. Okay, so... I thought I was trying to get to 4 million. How do I get to 4 million in a container that... Like I said, most needlessly annoying puzzle along with one on Korriban. Yeah, it's one of those puzzles where, like, I get the idea, but, like, sometimes actually doing it, Fill the injector pods. We have 3 and 3. Oh, I think I get it. Okay, so dump the container pod. Transfer injector. Fill injector. Transfer injector. That wasn't actually that hard of a puzzle. It's a little obtuse in the writing. Oh yeah, no, for an 11-year-old, that absolutely would be hard. And I'm not gonna... But, like, I've seen similar puzzles. And, you know, that was probably the easier one that I've seen in recent years, so... I'm pretty pleased as punch with myself with how quickly I solved that. Oh, I have to do the star map thing first. So I guess the star map's further out that way along the construction? Sure, we'll do that. I have a feeling this might take us a little while. It's just a feeling. Now that the Kolto harvesting machine has been destroyed, the Great Varaxon shows no signs of hostility. It allows you to pass. Thank you! Thank you, Giant Fish Mom. Clomp, 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 clomp. All right, star map 3 of 5. Am I writing this down? Am I taking notes? Does my helmet have a recorder in it? I'm concerned. Also, this is really pretty, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that... I wonder if someone's, like, made, like, a desktop-size physical version of that. Like, in a glass ball. That'd be pretty cool. I bet someone has. I'm out of commentary of what to say in the silly yellow suit. And we still have another walk to get back. Gale has redeemed a father joke. I knew I was forgetting to do something.
We saw what you did out there on the cameras. Destroying the machinery was the right thing to do for everyone. That creature, the giant Varaxon shark, the guardian of the Kolto or whatever it was, seems to have calmed down a lot. It may even be safe to go outside now, but we'll stay here and wait for the Republic rescue crews. Thank you for not making a huge mistake.
You know, I heard recently that the head of Honda was asked to leave. If they were told they would either be fired or they'd have to resign themselves, and well, they took the high road and they left in their own accord. Rotata! Well, happy feast day of Charles Luanga and companions, first of all. But I was listening. I didn't actually have to prepare a homily for today because I was presiding at the house mass and we don't preach in the house. But I was listening to the first reading, and it just really struck me the way the Maccabean sons spoke about their bodies in relation to God and their martyrdom. And they had a really great sense of how God had given them bodies as a gift and how those bodies would be properly used to glorify God. And it was just something about it that really caught my attention and struck my imagination of all that. No, when we celebrate our in-house mass, we don't preach. I think the idea is it's like, you know, what do you say to a room full of preachers on a daily basis? And also there's a sense of like pressure relieved. It's like, oh, I don't have to, because like, you know, a room full of preachers could be the hardest audience to preach to. No. If I were doing it in someone's house, I'd preach for sure. No. This was the what might be called the conventual mass. That's why you're confused. That makes sense. Let's take the long way so we can avoid those robots. I suppose if we run into any other Selkath around here, they're not going to be hostile anymore. Yes, let's use the submersible. Blub, 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 blub. So I guess now that we've found the star map, there's no reason I have to stick around.
I was beginning to fear that you too might have been lost. Did you find out what had happened down there at the facility?
Your construction woke something up.
Was down there? Living in the rift by the Kolto?
Yes, giant Phyrexian shark.
The entire operation wasted by a disaster we could never in 1,000 years have foreseen. What has happened to the facility itself? Were there any survivors?
A few scientists.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know indeed. But what has happened to the facility? Was it damaged?
Well, the harvesting machine
No,
was
that is
destroyed.
terrible. That will set our work back years. It may even cost us the war. While I am glad that you were able to solve our problems, the cost may have ended up being much too high. But you have done your job and helped us in our time of need. And for that, I thank you. Oh, and did you end up finding your star map?
None of your business. Yeah, I did.
As you can see, by helping us, you helped yourself. Perhaps we can work together again in the future.
What item did I receive? I guess money? Oh, hey. This is the part where I don't get thrown out of the planet, I think. Stop, human. We have detected a number of underwater detonations coming from the vicinity of the Hrackert Rift. You have been known to have asked questions about this, and our spy monitors in the Republic Embassy recorded you leaving in a submersible that descended to the Hrackert Rift. You will come with us immediately to answer for your actions. We'll be forced to take you by force. I'll come peacefully. I didn't hurt your stuff. I was about to say I didn't hurt no one, but, you know, that's not entirely true. But if they can do that, the whole system could. Silence. This is not for outsiders to hear. Well, human, you find yourself in a most difficult situation. The Hrackert Rift is the most precious resource in Manan, and anything that threatens it, or Kolto, threatens our entire species. We will not tolerate threats to our neutrality, our existence, our way of life. As much as we may admire your republic and your order in particular, I believe you will have a hard time explaining your role in this incident adequately. Can I have my lawyer back? We have determined that you are responsible for the detonations that occurred at the Hrackert Rift. We demand to know what occurred down there. If the Republic has broken its neutrality treaty with us, the repercussions shall be very grave indeed. What have you done to the rift? I'm gonna tell the truth. The explosions were at the research station. Both our governments set up down there. Research station? What are you talking about? Don't lie to us, human. We know of this. What? It will be discussed later. Don't worry about it. This cannot be kept silent. The council will hear nothing of this, and you will keep your silence or be ejected from the court. But we cannot. Silence! What has happened to the research station? What caused the explosions? The machinery had woken up a giant Phyrexian shark. A giant Phyrexian? Could it be? Impossible, it is only a legend. But he said he killed it, didn't he? You killed the shark, human. I didn't kill the shark. I destroyed the machinery to save it. The progenitor. It must have been. Be quiet, it's merely a myth, and not fit for outsiders to hear. But if it was the life bringer, the ancestor of our species, think what this could mean. If it always layered there, then perhaps the Kolto... Enough! Off-worlders are not to hear of such things. He said he saved it. He destroyed the harvesters to save it. Indeed, this casts your actions in a new light, human. This, I believe, will require more thought, both on your actions and on what we must do in response. The court will adjourn to deliberate. Possibly a dumb question, but can I explain today's gospel, why the man in the parable kept sending servants? Oh, I think that's the reading for the day. The gospel I heard was the Beatitudes, because we used the readings from the Charles Lwanga in Companions. So I'll have to take a look at that in a moment. We will not detain you any longer. We cannot show our gratitude overtly. Know that you have earned our respect. The trial is over now. Yay! We won our freedom! So which parable kept sending servants when he saw kept getting killed? I mean, parables are complicated in that it's not always meant to be like, oh, we know this person, or it's a one-to-one analogy of this. The role of a parable is ultimately to teach us a lesson, either of morals or of the nature of God. And so sometimes the actions in parables can seem outlandish, but that's very fitting for the archetype of the story in that culture, in that era. You know, it's intentionally hyperbolized to help make the point. You know, so it's not necessarily a comment on this guy's leadership ability so much as it is about the nature of Christ in the end. Where am I headed? Yeah, this way. Yeah, I'm guessing, based on your description, this is the parable where the man keeps sending his servants to collect the harvest, and the workers kill, and then ultimately he sends his son, and the son is taken for ransom. I'll pull it up when I get back to the ship. There's the Ebon Hawk. I've heard the story of Jesus healing the blind man was an eye-opening experience. Yes, yes, I imagine it would be. Mark 12, 1 through 12, plants a vineyard and builds a wine press, sends his servants to send the son, and all they get killed. Son bill is rejected, etc. Yep. Yeah. Camera's deactivated. So, I'm gonna get a commentary, so I'm gonna leave you with Meep for a moment. So, I got a couple books. I have a whole bookshelf full of commentaries. Time to visit Yavin for a vendor? Absolutely. But first, some scripture talk. So these are two of the main resources I actually use when writing my own homilies. One is the For Everyone series, written by N.T. Wright. He's an Episcopalian bishop, but his scholarship on scripture is fantastic. And he does a really good job putting it into modern day. And then and I have other specifically Catholic resources too. Don't worry. But I like to get a broad spectrum. Another is actually the Orthodox Study Bible. I find the commentary in here really fascinating and particularly helpful in many ways. And gives, again, a different perspective sometimes. So let's see what the Orthodox Study Bible has to say on this. It's sending us over to the Lucan version. That happens in study Bibles often. 29 to 16. Because, you know, the same parable may be told in slightly different ways, and so the main commentary gets written down in one version. Your eye-opening joke yesterday was the one you stole from Father David. Nice. Yeah, so the Orthodox Study Bible says that in this parable, the man represents God the Father, and the vineyard refers to God's people. The vine, the growers, the workers, are leaders of the Jewish peoples entrusted to care for the people. Each servant sent stands for an Old Testament prophet that comes to call people back to God, while the beloved Son refers to Christ himself. When Christ when the son is cast out of the vineyard to be killed, this is understood on two levels. That Jesus was killed outside of Jerusalem, and that Jesus was crucified by foreign soldiers, not by those of his own vineyard. The others who later received the vineyard are the Gentiles brought into the church. So there's that level. And again, Scripture is multivalent, right? Like, so there's never exactly one thing that is purely right. Like, there are different levels that we can appreciate this on, and that is an absolutely classic interpretation of it, of basically Christ having a parable of who he is in light of Israel's history vis-a-vis the prophets, and what his death ultimately means. Let's see what N.T. Wright has to say. His commentary is a little longer, so I'm not going to like read it out loud, but this is the height of Twitch chat, or Twitch content. Watching a priest read a book. Yeah, again, N.T. Wright focuses on the sense of like understanding this parable as reflecting upon Jesus, it sort of expressing his own self, or expressing like who he is. Thought I saw something in there really quickly that I thought would be good to include. N.T. Wright makes this note, and I think a good one. It doesn't have exactly a happy ending. But he quotes a psalm, Psalm 118. This psalm, well known to many Jewish celebrations, is about going up to Jerusalem to worship in the temple in the presence of the Lord. It mentions the fact that the temple, part of the glory of the temple architecture, is the stone which wouldn't fit any other part of the building, but which is just what's needed for the capstone, the stone at the very summit of the corner or an arch. That's the image Jesus needs for his point. What he has come to do and to be can't be fitted into different sort of building, and indeed it will be rejected by builders who have their own interests, but instead will be used to complete a new building. So, I hope that helps you, Catholic Brit. Also, good to see you, Cautious Dan. Glad you like the Twitch chat here. Paint smells. I don't think Father Evans smells. Well, watching a priest read is still better than watching paint dry. Fair enough. I'm the nerd who's interested in theology. A lot of the activities involve priest reading, talking about books. Also happen to be a fan of KOTOR. Then this is absolutely the right place for you, Brayherd, and I'm happy you're here. Okay, let's go to Yavin. And let's do some shopping. Okay, so we've done Tatooine, we've done Manon. Korriban is extra. Dantooine we started on. So is it Korriban and Kashyyyk that have the next two pieces of the map, I guess? Or is it just Kashyyyk that has a map piece? I don't remember. Anyway, we're going to Yavin for shopping. Okay, that's actually a really pretty city. Like, that'd be really beautiful to just, like, fly over slowly. Cutscene. Dun dun dun.
Calo Nord is dead. Lord Malak, he has failed in his mission. Forgive me.
The penalty for failure is death, Admiral Kareth. But the failure was Calo's, not yours. You may rise.
I guess he's already suffered his,
No mere bounty hunter can stand against a Jedi. I shall not make the same mistake again. My apprentice, Darth Bandon, shall take care of our young Jedi friend.
Good to know, Brayherd. I was probably thinking Kashyyyk, and I've got to take the Wookiee to Kashyyyk. I mean, it's its own planet. Oh! Whoa, someone's got a temper. Well, I'm glad that helped you understand it, Britt.
Find Bastila and bring her to me alive.
Take the Wookiee to Kashyyyk does sound like
Master.
So, did you take the Wookiee to Kashyyyk? This is Darth Brandon. He's not is his name seriously just Brandon? I went to high school with someone named Brandon. That's not a Sith name. I can't take him seriously. I expect him to tell me about how he did in the football game last weekend. Oh, Darth Bandon. That's still not a great name. We're gonna take our party that we're gonna take to Kashyyyk. Which I guess is gonna be Bastila and Zalbar. Because I just want to make sure that I have all their best. Actually, I like to manually level up my Force people just because of their powers. What's this? Improved energy resistance. Haley Fowler sounds good. Make her like a support Jedi.
Sure.
They're taking the Wookiees to Isengard! On one level, this seems unnecessary, like just making it this big. Oh, Davix, isn't it? I think it makes it immersive to have that long corridor. But who are you? You new or something? Yeah, I'm new. Very new. Force Persuade. Ah, yeah, I'll open my door for you, friend. There we go. Thank you. I'd like to do some shopping with you. Aw, you don't look like I thought you would. Too human. Don't see many of your kind out here anymore. Not since the war, at any rate. What brings you in? Jedi Council? Don't tell me you're a Jedi. You sure don't look it. They've sent me to stop Darth Malak. Darth Malak? Never heard of him. Or is he the new Sith Lord who's giving the Republic such a hard time now? I have been keeping up on the recent news. Why don't you know these things? Well, you see, I'm kind of out of touch with the rest of the galaxy. I haven't left the system in almost 50 years, and this station in the last 5, so... Oh. It's not a bad way to live. I have all the gadgets to tinker with and the smugglers and Trandosians to bring me food and interesting piece of equipment. You're an inventor? Maybe a little. I tinker with stuff, and I found lying around the ruins on Yavin 4 that the Trandosians and smugglers bring me, of course, with usually weapons and things. But I just have so many ideas that people haven't seemed to come up with yet. It's really quite astonishing. Who are the Trandoshans? Oh, mercenaries, bounty hunters. Scum, mostly. They look like big two-legged lizards. What do they want with you? Oh, they found me here a couple years ago after the war ended. Usually they don't bargain with people they find in abandoned space stations, but we worked out a deal. I'd give them a few more of my applicable inventions at a reasonable prices, and they'd keep me supplied with food and new materials. It worked out well for a few years, really. With Davik gone, they've been getting ideas, though. Anything else you want to know? Oh, you don't happen to play Bazak, do you? No. Do you have anything you'd be willing to sell? Yeah, a few things kicking around the place. Stuff the Trandoshans and smugglers have brought for me to look at, and a few things I've been making from parts. They aren't cheap, though. They pay a lot for what I can make, and I can sell you anything. I can't exactly sell to them, now can I? But if you're willing to pay, I've got a few more of my advanced things you can look at. I'm always working on more, so you can check back on some other time if I don't have what you want right now. Here, have a look. Baragwin Shadow Armor. That sounds pretty cool. Although I think my current armor gives better bonus. That's pretty good, not gonna lie. All this stuff is so expensive, though. What can I even sell? I guess I could sell Calo Nord's armor. I mean, it's good armor, but it's also worth a lot. The vendor's one of my favorite characters because of how weird he is. He is pretty out there. I appreciate that about him. I've been out of touch with things going on in the galaxy. Yeah, I'm going to sell Calo Nord's armor. That sigil crystal's worth a lot. But let's go back to the buy list. I think I really want... Honestly, this would be pretty good. Just like being immune to mind affecting and poison. I think I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to equip that.
I'm here.
What?
So right now, what do I have? I have the cardio pack, Constitution +1. That's nice. What do you mean I can't install it? Oh, feet required implant level 3. Awkward. How do I check my feats? There it is. I only have implant level 1. Okay, well, I think I know what feats I'm going to take. I don't suppose anyone else can... Well, he could use it. What does he have right now? He has response package, dex +1. Nah, let's give him constitution +4. That seems pretty good. Make the Wookiee strong. Sure, we'll up her will. And I want to mess around with my lightsaber a little bit. So I could do, what's this do? Attack bonus of 3, attack bonus of 1, but energy 1d6 damage. I think I'm gonna stick with the damage. But we could probably upgrade. She has the crate pearl. Should give her that sigil. Then I don't think I have anything else. Oh, I guess I have a second. Oh, I didn't assemble it. Ah. I always forget that that's a thing you have to hit, is assemble. Alright. Let's go to Kashyyyk. Which I always thought had 2 Ys for the longest time, and then, when I was actually, I think it was this game, because like I'd played Jedi Survivor or whatever recently. You go to Kashyyyk and that. I think it was this game where I was like, wow, it's actually spelled with 3 Ys. So Brayherd, I know you know this game pretty well, so I'm guessing we've got to do Kashyyyk, and then Korriban, and then I'm guessing the Star Forge is the final level, final world. But I'm guessing that's longer than some of the others, just because it's the final confrontation and all that. No. No! Bad dreams! Starforge is the last one. Cool. So I feel like we're making good progress. I was worried that this game was gonna get a little long in the tooth, but I guess it's just that first, the tutorial world is kind of long. You felt it. Another vision. The Force continues to work through us.
You felt it, yes. Another vision. The Force continues to work through us, showing us the star maps unearthed by Revan Malak. Kashyyyk is a lush but simple and undeveloped world. I would not have expected to find the alien technology of a star map here.
Do you think the Wookiees are involved?
The Wookiees of Kashyyyk make their home high among the Rosha branches. Only their bravest warriors dare to descend into the forbidding depths of the forest. If the star map is
or those fighting separatist soldiers on the beachfront.
Our vision seems to suggest, it's unlikely the Wookiees even know of its existence. No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
Come here, Zalbar. You're home. Greetings to you. While I am pleased to welcome you to planet G5623, I do not see your ship on my docking schedule. The Circa Corporation will see to your needs, of course, but there will be a 100 credit docking fee in advance, I fear. What? I thought this was Kashyyyk. Oh, that is what the dominant indigenous species calls this world. But maintaining this outpost grants the Zerka Corporation naming rights in the trade guides. That seems like a colonialism. But I'm sorry. I really must insist that docking fees be paid before I impart further services. I must follow proper procedure. Upon collection of the correct fees, I will extend what resources the Zerka Corporation can offer. I'm sure you understand. Zerka is usually not portrayed as nice people. Yeah, I'm picking up on that as a general theme. Force pursuit. I don't think I... No, that's lying. Here you go. It's 100 credits. You're welcome on Edian Trade Organization G5623. Zerka Corporation, welcome to your business. You should discuss your interest in my office. Oops. I see you have a Wookiee with you. Can I assume you understand their language? For a fee, Zerka Corporation can provide a translator for you during your visit. That will not be necessary. Very well. Though only the most adaptive people can comprehend the Wookiee language, such as it is. How hard is it? It's just yelling. That was terrible. Now then, please follow me to our information center. IDK, if I mentioned this before, but your room looks like strikingly similar to your boss's office at home. Is your boss a nerd? Because I've got the Lego Titanic, Power Shroom, random old books and a lightsaber, more Lego, a lot of religious stuff, magic cards. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that tracks. I love my office and all of its eccentricities. Kashyyyk, my home. I should have prepared you for coming here, but I don't know if I've prepared myself. What? Prepared for what? What do you mean? I didn't leave Kashyyyk voluntarily. Mission must have told you I was fleeing slavers. But there was more. I am in exile. The slavers on Kashyyyk only took me after I was forced to leave my village home 20 years ago. Oh. Why were you forced to leave? My brother made deals with the slavers and allowed them to get a foothold. I found out and attacked him. Good on you. The fight was stopped, but my father did not believe me when I told him about my brother's actions. I was made an exile, disowned by my home and people. I should not be here. They will not accept me back. Oh. Why didn't your father believe you? Oh, when I attacked my brother, I was so mad I used my claws. You don't understand what that means to a Wookiee. Our claws are tools, not weapons. To use them in battle is to become an animal. It is madness without honor. I am forever a mad claw in the eyes of my people. Nothing I say is to be trusted. They were right to cast me out. Okay, well, time has passed. Things have changed. The slavers are still here. The stock is theirs. I doubt anyone has risen to try and fight. Nothing has changed. I just hope I can prove myself to my people. It'll be difficult to make them listen. I just don't know. Well, we'll deal with that if we have to. I don't have much hope. Where's our dude? We lost our dude. Bastila, you want to talk too? I mean, look at the walls and the door. Everything looks mirrored. Lol. That's fair. The joys of television.
How can I help?
What do you know about this place?
Kashyyyk is a planet where most of what you see is actually foliage that has grown to enormous heights. No one has ever been to the true surface of the planet below. Beyond that, there is little else I can tell you.
I'd like to know more about
yes,
you.
I suppose I can understand your curiosity, given the bond that connects us. Very well. I'll tell you a bit about myself.
Tell me how you joined the
I was
Jedi.
strong with the Force at a young age, as most Padawans are. As a girl, I was given to the Order to be trained. When I joined the Order, I left my family on Tal Ravan, as all Padawans do. My family is still there, the last that I heard. I've had little contact with them, as it is discouraged.
That doesn't seem right. Discouraged?
Relationships
Why?
with family members are fraught with powerful emotions. Such extremes are to be avoided. Anger and hate are the worst, but even love can lead to folly.
I would say I'd never agree to that, but I've already joined the Order, so, like, don't you miss your
Like
family?
all who join the Order, I have learned to embrace the life I've chosen. I had to let go of my attachments to my family.
That must be
It
very
can
difficult.
be a hard lesson to learn. I was not on good terms with all of my family, but I do remember missing my father terribly for a long time.
You and your father were close?
I was only a little girl when I left my family, but I still remember him fondly. He was kind and gentle and doted on me. My mother, however, was different. I was not on good terms with my mother. I was only a little girl when I left, but I was old enough to resent her and the way she treated my father. She pushed my father into treasure hunting. I spent all my young life on ships, traveling from one false lead to the next. She whittled away my father's entire fortune, and I hated her for it. I think she was relieved to give me to the Jedi, but my father was heartbroken.
You never tried to get in
Child
touch
is
with
too
your father
young to
again?
understand the sacrifices that must be made. It's better if they have no contact with their family once they're removed. Once I was older, I realized the wisdom of this policy. A Jedi must do what is needed, personal desires notwithstanding. Love can only obscure and confuse the matter.
Are you saying you no longer
Even a
feel
Jedi
love?
cannot always control the feelings of the heart. We must do our best to guard against it, no matter what the cost. But some sacrifices are harder than others. I do not wish to discuss this anymore. I would rather return to our mission.
Sorry, we got a little sidetracked, Janos. Oh, greetings again. How can Zerka Corporation serve you during your visit, Edian? I'm looking for a thing called a star map. I have no idea. Are you sure you meant to come here? The world is very primitive. Much of it is still unexplored, even by the locals. The forest gets ever more dangerous the further you descend. The lowest levels, the Shadowlands, are largely unknown. Well. Very good. Feel free to inspect our operation here, but I would advise against going too far from the main landing area. The planet is very much untamed, and we do not send our patrols on lost tourists. Ha! I'm not a tourist. I'm a Jedi.
Hold here, Spacer. Zerka Corporation doesn't recommend traveling in Wild Adian. Katarn attacks are especially bad right now. Wookiee hunters usually keep numbers down, but I think they leave certain areas infested, just hoping a Zerka guard will get killed.
I'm going past you. I paid the landing fee.
I won't stop you, but you leave this area at your own risk. We're here to protect the company, not you.
Aye, aye, sir. It's the save button. So, that's actually the perfect place. We're going to go to an ad break, so it's a good chance. Get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, and we will be back in a few minutes. And we are back. So I think we're just going to dive right in, you know. Zerk is not going to help us. I help my own way. Oh, this is a Kinrath. Okay.
What can I do?
Yes.
What a fascinatingly weird and ugly design. I hate it. Can you sense it? The wind, the sound, the smells? I feel it all now that we are away from the spaceport. The walkway is new, probably built by slavers, but I remember the trees. My village is not far from here. Uh-oh. I'm not here just for the star map. We'll let things unfold as they unfold. What can I expect to encounter? I'm sorry, I don't know. It's been so long since I left. I only know the way things were, and many things may have changed. I must warn you of one thing. I don't know if I will be a help or a hindrance to you. My father was very powerful, a chieftain. Perhaps his feelings have mellowed, but if my brother had his ear all this time, I may be very unwelcome. Well, we'll deal with that when we get there. That's what I'm dreading. My shame was meant to be forgotten on some faraway world. I never thought I'd come back. I'm sorry. I've taken enough of your time. We should press on. I'm feeling like maybe I shouldn't have him in the party. Like, I'm just causing him all this distress. Like, I'm guessing that there's a way to heal this and, like...
This isn't good. I can't afford this. You think I can? Do you know what they get for a healthy one of those things?
We'll work it out later. We've got company. What do you want, Spacer? I'm Patrol Captain Deno, and you're interrupting Zerka Corporation business.
What happened
this
here?
This Wookiee slave got a little rebellious. We had to put it down.
You helped Zalbar reconcile. I figured, but still. Put it down? We're not animals. What? Why would I say that? Why would I be like, oh yeah, I bet that makes you mad? Zalbar, let me handle this. But their disregard for life, the Wookiees, too much. I mean, yeah, they're kind of terrible people. Please honor my request. I will do so, for your sake, not theirs.
Careful now. That growl sounded pretty threatening. Keep your
I want to
slave on his
attack them.
leash or we'll have another accident.
Just shut up, you trigger-happy idiot.
Do you superiors
Of course they don't.
approve of this?
You asked me that. Doing some sort of snap inspection? You're trying to get me to admit to incompetence, aren't you? Not going to happen. I stand by my patrol.
Well, you could
This
look at
Wookiee
me while having a conversation. That might
had to be put down.
help you look more
Find another
competent.
easy enough.
I won't allow you to
Is
enslave
that
or
a
kill
joke?
another Wookiee.
Who do you think you are?
Request to transfer.
What
Move
are you
yourself
trying to
in.
get away with here?
Ooh.
You can't just walk up and start demanding things.
I mean, I
think this
can.
troublemaker needs an accident. In fact, I think this Wookiee attacked this fool and we arrived just a little too late to help.
Captain, we have blasters. Don't Wookiees use those bowcaster things?
Would you just shut up and shoot?
Yay! I get to attack them. They're jerks. I got light side points by attacking someone. That's not common. Ooh, we get his ID card. We could use that.
I'm here.
No, Zalbar, can you recover a mine? No.
Yes.
Can I recover a mine? The answer is also no. Oh yeah, my demolitions is terrible. Maybe I should up that. That's just keeping up injury, computer use. Put a random point into demolition. Why not? Powers. I can't use those because I'm wearing armor. Stasis. Stasis sounds good.
Let's make this quick.
There we go. Yeah, that seems like a good ability to have. No, no, not the Vindo Viper. Combat's a little.
What can I do?
Sure.
All sorts of goodies. You know, this is actually a really interesting interpretation of Kashyyyk. Because, like, the first mainstream representation was episode 3, I guess. You're not permitted to pass into the Shadowlands. Only Chundar may allow you entry. Especially when you bring filth such as this with you. The Mad Claw has no place here. Who are you to question my place? You follow Chundar into the arms of outsiders. And yet you travel with outsiders yourself. Speak no more. Chundar will decide if you are permitted to enter the Shadowlands. Where is this Wookiee I need to see? Speak with Chundar in the village of Rukroro. Is that how I pronounce that? Rukroro. Alright, now we just go to town. Yeah, it's so much easier when your enemies can't do anything. Rotida? Yeah, we did Rotida. Yeah, I responded to your Rotada earlier, Kit. I was talking about the first reading. Oh, I know, the other word sounded like Rotada. Yeah, it does. You're right, I hadn't thought of that. I'm very good at rolling my R's. Rolling my R's. Use Circa ID. Oh, well, I could have just done those that way. Oh, Dark Jedi.
Lord Malak was most displeased when he learned you had escaped Taris alive. He has promised a great reward to whoever destroys you.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be you. Man, it's so much easier fighting your opponent when they can't do anything.
You cannot win.
I'm beginning to think this Malak guy doesn't like us very much. It's just a thought. So I have a cardio regulator. Is this a better cardio regulator? It is. Let's equip that. What's up, Wookiee Guard? Growl. Stop where you are, outsider. You entered the domain of Chundar. Step aside, this human is with me and I want to access to the home of my people. You have no rights, Madclaw. This human should not have brought this taint upon our land. You must answer to Chundar. You're not allowed to see Chundar. Go see Chundar! Take me to Chundar. I must speak with him. You make a demand for something you can't alter, can't help. Enough talk. Have at you. You and Outcast Madclaw will be taken to Chundar now. That's what I asked for! All of a sudden I can have another teammate with me, I guess? That's weird. I guess Zalbar comes with you on this portion regardless of... Step forward and address mighty and wise Chundar, outsider. I don't often allow visitors of your kind. You got a human in the corner right there! You are flanked by Zerka slavers. Are they not outsiders, or have you sold all of Kashyyyk to them? This is a Shakespearean drama. Ah, Brother Zalbar. You've been exiled a long time. You shouldn't speak in that tone. Things are different now. You are a Madclaw without honor. You have no voice among your people. I, on the other hand, am chieftain. What happened to your dad? If you've made a deal with the slavers, truth will get out eventually. You may talk, but no one will believe you. I've had a long time to guide what my people think. They trust me. The mighty Chundar! Even with my brother insane and father enslaved, I rose to protect my people despite it all. Excuse me, your father is enslaved? You're a terrible son. Who you're talking about? You were the runt. I am no runt. Like I said, Zalbar, a lot has changed in your years away. We will discuss this soon enough. What do you want? Why drag us here? I haven't killed Zalbar because he is my brother. I haven't killed Zalbar because he is my brother, and I hoped he would come to an agreement. You are irrelevant. I may be able to put you to use on a menial task. Zalbar will have to stay here, of course. What's the task? A simple thing. Another Wookiee has suffered the same fate as Zalbar, gone mad and been exiled. He now lurks in the Shadowlands. Was this written by C.S. Lewis? More importantly, he's pestering my Zerka allies during their Shadowland expeditions. It is not good for business. He's standing against you. The first of many, perhaps? No one will follow a Madclaw. He is merely a nuisance. Besides, he cowers in the Shadowlands. My people know nothing of him. Let's get back to other questions. You test my patience. Do my task or flee to your ship. I don't care which. Give me your version. Zalbar didn't tell you. He took offense to my trading with a few of our people for favors and weapons. Yeah, I take offense of someone trading a few of my people. I didn't understand his objections. Imagine the destruction if Zerka had come in with blasters firing. I saved many lives. What? In case it's not completely clear, Chendar is the bad guy. Yeah, I was picking up on that. Just a few subtle hints here and there, like, you know, him working with slavers. Yeah, listen, no, I feel like insulting him is probably a bad idea at this stage. Easy to come to understand the benefits of working with the enemy, unlike your exiled companion. Young Zalbar has no foresight. He couldn't control his outrage. He attacked me with his claws and damned himself doing it. A few careful stories, and everyone called him Madclaw. Even Father Freyr. I'll consider what you said. I'll go now. I'll allow you access to the Shadowlands. You will trek and kill this insane Wookiee, and then maybe you will earn my favor. Zalbar stays here to ensure your loyalty. The Zerka would never let me hold you, but they don't care what I do with fellow Wookiees. I need Zalbar as a guide. No, you won't need him to find your way. Over the years, I had my people trained to understand Galactic Basic. I tell them it's better to understand the enemy. They think it will make the Zerka easier to fight. Actually makes them easier to obey. Remember, if you can't beat me here, no one would dare oppose me to join an outsider or an exile. You were wrong, brother. Someone would. Yeah, Zalbar, you and me. No, outsider. Zalbar is referring to Freyr, our father. Why, Zalbar? He ordered you exiled when you attacked me. He went as mad as you when he finally discovered the slavers. He dared challenge them alone and has not been seen since. That was years ago. Let him go, Zalbar. I rule now. I'll take the Wookiees forward, but there are prices to pay. Don't listen to him, Zalbar. It's not worth it. No more words, outsider. I've given my orders. I can't hold you here, but Zalbar will stay till you kill the Madclaw in the Shadowlands. The guards will let you pass now. Leave the village through the northwest and follow the platform to the south and then the east. You'll see where the Gorwookin awaits for you. Gorwookin. He'll lower you to the force floor. Go. I wonder who the exiled Madclaw could possibly be. Could it be their father? Freyr? With some very thick foreshadowing. What was that dance move about? Yeah, I know Bastila, but we already had a heart-to-heart here on Kashyyyk, so... You only get one an episode, I'm afraid. Yeah, the architecture here is really interesting to see in comparison to what they did in Episode 3. Much more solid and large structures. I like both. I think both are good. I think 3's become more cemented in the use of Star Wars imagery. Yeah, there are times this game does subtle well, mostly with like some of the choices you can make and like how you go about them. Although some of the choices are also incredibly obvious. Like, I'm going to kill you. But then there's also times where like, huh, wow, this local villain sure is clearly the local villain. Hello? There we go. I couldn't walk for a moment. Let's level you up. Let's up your wisdom again. Because that helps your Jedi stuff. Ooh, Force Immunity, Paralysis, and Master Sense. Nice. I'm going to give her Implant level 1 because she doesn't have any. And this would be nice to be able to give her an implant. Can someone make coming up with interview questions not be insanely difficult? That depends on the subject, I'm afraid. What's up? Do I really care about her wisdom? Probably not. Ooh, Master Scoundrel's Luck. I don't know what that does, but we have it. So now we can give her a response package, because if nothing else, at least a little bit of the boost. Which interview is this for, Britt? I might be able to help come up with some questions. Are you Gorwook? Shandar has said you can pass into the Shadowlands. Gorwookin will lower you down in the elevator basket. Gorwookin climbed to the basket from the upper branches, but you will have to walk outside her. The path is seldom used. There may be vermin nesting along it. Be ready to fight. Go south and then east, he said. Interviewing one person who chose currently church teaching rather than use IVF, and one person is currently in the process of making a decision on IVF or not IVF. I feel like super personal and not something I can think. Ooh, that is a tough, yeah. I retract my statement, unfortunately. I don't think I can help you come up with questions on that one. It's a nice skybox, too, with the things flying in the distance. Like, this feels like a very populated Kashyyyk. What do you want, outsider? I won't let you follow us on our hunt. Choral is not here for your amusement. Can I ask you some questions? Why would you listen to me? Your kind have only been interested in caging or killing us. So I won't be your trophy, dead or as a slave. Leave me. You have no place here. I'll leave you then. Bye. I just came up and I just helped you. Share a bit of their story. I think it's really the best question to ask is just, share your story. Hey, bowcaster. Would that be... Oh, I don't have my Wookiee with me. I was like, maybe that's good to give to my Wookiee. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on Bastila. Garwookin, help me. Yeah, why questions are usually just really good in general in interviews. Garwook, walk with care. Only our bravest return from these lands. Your soft feet are barely tolerated insult. Okay, slow me down. The descent will be long. Be still, or we will attract unwelcome visitors. Dun dun dun. That was a really weird choice of transition. Doing the spiral wipe like that. And here's the circle wipe, spiral wipe, whatever you want to call it. And here's why. The background barely changed. It was still the same core thing. Oh, hey.
At last, my search is over. I was beginning to fear someone else had killed you and deprived me of the pleasure. You may have defeated the pathetic bounty hunter my master sent after you. But you are no match for me. I have studied at the foot of the Dark Lord himself.
Man, you just have an evil mustache. I can kill you just like I killed Calo Nord.
To me, unless you wish to beg for your life. No? Then I shall try to make this both quick and painful.
I wish I had saved. I'm gonna save here. Ow! Mom, he pushed me. Nope, Bastila fell. Why? No! I didn't want... I wanted you to do heal actions. Can you stop it with the Force Lightning, my good sir? Darth Brandon. Okay, well, I tried to heal her, but... Oh, whoops. And this is why I saved. This is probably the game's hardest boss. Oh man, I almost had him too. Well, I think I know what we're doing for the next little while. And energy shields work on lightsabers. I know, I just need to remember to activate them.
What can I do?
Where are you going? Take out his minions first. Why am I incapacitated? Okay, I'm gonna make a separate save here. Darth Brandon. Because we have his 2 allies down.
Let's make
And we
this
still have
quick.
Bastila with us. So this is a decent chance.
What can I do?
Or apparently I just get... Hey, you want to join us? Hey, you want to help? Bud? Hey, bud? Bud, pal? Bud? I apparently broke his AI. I found the solution to winning! Just don't have an opponent! Is this a fair duel? While pause and check stimulants on everyone, I don't need to. He's not drawing his blade. He's just happy standing there. I'm not touching anything now. I'm gonna let this play out. Hello, Jedi Council. I found the solution to defeating the Sith. Just glitch their AI by saving and reloading enough times, and they'll just turn off their lightsabers and stand there and get confused. It makes it so easy. There's the guy who killed my roommate. Well, then I'm especially going to attack him here. This is so anticlimactic. Oh. I love video games. Ooh, he had 300 credits. And fiber armor. You know, it's important to eat your fiber. You know, it helps keep you regular. Okay, so that's currently giving me 7 with the dex bonus plus 5. Well, that's not even better. That's objectively worse. Although it does give fire resistance. But it's unupgradable. Oh, I'm out of energy shields. Hardest boss fight. Hello again, Karth Devon. I've heard nothing of your progress, so I will assume that there hasn't been any. I'll take you back to the surface, but you must do Chundar's task. Don't keep him waiting. I'm not ready to go back up. I was just exploring. Very well, I'll wait for you. Like, you just watched me get attacked by another dude with a lightsaber. And you were just like, eh, whatever. Oh, these things are big. Oh, I don't like those dangling limbs. That's uncomfortable.
Let's make this quick.
Zabrak Tistrel Mark III. Wrath Double Sword. I think I've glitched lightsabers. Like this guy's that is a very powerful lightsaber right there.
Racket of battle. Watch yourself. Even more of these crawling beasts
Really?
are hiding in the underbrush.
Leaving Chundar in charge is the bad thing to do. I am shocked and amazed. Shocked, I say. Who are you? What are you doing here? How is your lightsaber invisible?
I'm Jolie Bendo. Follow me to my camp.
Jolene, but it ain't nothing but her favorite country song. Are you a Jedi?
Don't start fawning just yet. I'm too old for it. I know a few things, but we can talk about it at my camp. Keep close. It's nearby under a log. Yeah, I live like some burrowing rodent. I fought the Sith. Now look at me.
Is this your
Well,
camp?
welcome to my home, such as it is. Pull up a stump and be comfortable. We should discuss a few things.
Yes, I feel there's much you can tell me.
Child, I'm neither a Jedi nor your master. I'm just an old man that's been lost in the woods for far too long.
Yeah, but you've been lost. Maybe you know where things are, like a star map?
Perhaps there is something I can do for you. You must have questions.
I need information on the problems on
Yes,
Kashyyyk.
among the Wookiees, intriguing creatures. I like that they have little patience for bureaucrats. But of course, even here, there are hidden things that manipulate.
Have you seen a crazed Wookiee in the Shadowlands?
With grief, perhaps, but not crazed. I helped him pass to the lower forest where only a Wookiee could follow. Some other matters will determine if you can follow. There's a barrier that, well, we'll talk of that more in a moment.
What do you know of Chundar?
The corporation was smart to put him in power. He's as good at destroying Wookiee culture as dropping corpses full of Ardroxian flu. Will you work for him or against him, I wonder? I will be interested to see.
You don't have a recommendation?
Sure. How's this? Think for yourself. I don't care for politics.
Hmm.
I'm big on letting people figure things out for themselves. The Wookiees have prophecies of deliverance if you ask them. But for now, they follow without hesitation. That is their wish.
Let's ask more questions.
Fine.
Have you seen Star
Why
Map?
would you be asking about that, Don't answer. I knew why you were here. The problems of a few Wookiees don't amount to anything before the concerns of the Jedi. No, you are here for that.
If you have information, please tell me.
Interesting place. More so than anyone suspects. If Circa Corporation knew, the planet would be a strip mine. The Wookiees have their legends that they were not always here. But it is more than that. The trees themselves are strangers.
Are they in a strange land? Do they grok that? I don't understand.
What
Can you be
I'm
more
saying
specific?
is that there are literally walls in your way, and you won't find what you need without my help. My help has a price. You must do a task for me, and then allow me to join with you. I will then remove certain barriers in your path.
I mean, you're already a cool dude. I would like you to join anyway. I'm honored to help.
Save it. I know this sounds absurd, but I'm old and entitled to work you around a bit. Besides,
You weren't sure if my Strange Land comment was a Bible joke or a Heinlein joke. Ah, por qué no los dos?
Circa have left me alone for the most part. Until recently, a group of them set up camp not far from here. Poachers is all they are. I'd like them removed from this place.
Okay, so where are they? How many?
They're not that far northeast of here. There's usually 5 in the area as far as I can see. The captain of the lot is the one that earned my ire. Mishandle my garden, Willie.
I like this guy. A defensive gardener. I'll look into it.
Return to me here and we'll see how you have done. Shoot! Shoot!
I like Jolie. Good, go do this. Shoo! Shoo! Go away! Shoo!
Malfunction. Playback.
I don't get it. That merchant said there was salvage down here. We need Matt to work the sensors.
Playback.
When he gets back, we'll... Wait, I'm getting something. Oh good, it's Eli. Maybe he'll point us in the right direction.
Playback.
Eli, what are you... You got your money, you double-crossing snake. We had a deal.
What happened to you?
I don't get it. That merchant said there was salvage.
Playback. Playback.
Well,
Shutting down.
I got exploded. What direction am I supposed to be going? Northeast of his camp. The Mandalorian Poacher Quest. Well, I am certainly looking for poachers. So maybe it's up there that I need to go. Bastila, why are you so hurt? You have force armor. Please, use it. A dire, whatever these things are, Katarn. Isn't Kyle Katarn a Star Wars character? Like, genuine question, like, it sounds very familiar. Oh look, people.
Who are you, another civil merchant like that Koros slime up on the docking ring? This is my territory. I don't make deals, and I don't persuade easily, so go back topside. Mess with my profits, and I'll see you dead.
Nope. Are you the poachers Jolie told me about?
The old fool is still alive. I suppose he's still upset that we don't all live in little homemade shacks like he chooses. I've got a job to do here, and there's nothing you or that old coot can do about it.
What if I wait to leave the Shadowlands?
Hermit Jolie trying to talk you into doing his dirty work. We've spent too much on setting up just to walk away. As long as the sonic emitters keep the Preds away and I've got bodies to guard the perimeter, we're staying right here. I mean, if I can put up with my own worthless guards complaining about this place, Jolie whining through you is nothing.
You're just a circus
I
slaver.
don't need this kind of garbage from you. Watch your mouth. I'm the only law there is down here.
No, you're not.
Something to say, get on.
There's natural law, laws of nature, which are different things.
All right, I'm done talking with you. You've got under my skin one too many times. I'll bet.
Oh no, that are the dark side points. See, that was one of those where it's like I know it's like the option was like, I should kill you. So it's very aggressive and forward, but at the same time, you know, it's in the broader context of like the slavers and everything. Where did I leave his body? I bet it has a key code. How did I miss a box?
Yes?
Huh?
Oh sure, this one doesn't even have a lock on it.
What can I do?
As I remember, I have my rogue with me.
Yes?
What?
What?
Thank you, mission. You're back. Welcome back. Got a slaver contract. I feel like that'll come in handy.
Welcome back. I wonder, have you...
I made certain the poachers are gone.
Yes, I heard the fuss of it. I told you I wanted a non-violent solution, and I had my reasons.
I tried, okay?
Circa Corporation will find the bodies and blame the Wookiees. This may cause more troops. I'm not pleased. What's done is done. I'm not here to judge you.
I'm not here to judge you. I'm just gonna be here and tell you how displeased I am. I couldn't find a peaceful solution. I regret that.
Duty to point out what you should have learned from this, or perhaps no. Was that convincing? It's been a while since I've been in the company of someone that needed that kind of babysitting.
Rude. Can you help me find a star map now?
Yes, of course. Let's get moving. I noticed the moon path some time ago. You probably wouldn't have found them on your own. There's also a Circa repulsor field blocking the way, past the poacher camp in the east. I saw it when it was installed, so I know how to pass it. And on the other side, ancient answers. And perhaps a Wookiee you were seeking. I hope he's in the mood for visitors.
All right, Jolie has joined the party. No, since he's a lightsaber user, I'm gonna keep mission in because it is a to have the rogue around. Okay, what actually is he in terms of like class? He's a Jedi Consular. Okay, gonna just auto level him up because that is 6 levels, and I don't feel like dealing with it. What kind of powers does he have? Okay, it's pretty basic. Ooh, advanced lightsaber throw. Yeah, because like removing these mines is useful having mission around. Do I get to meet Lumpy? Is Lumpy around?
Yes?
What?
That's Chewbacca's son. What?
What?
Sounds like a seagull and a goat. Yeah. It looks like a goat and a monkey, so...
Huh?
Chewbacca isn't born for another 3,000 years, I'm pretty sure. Lumpawaru is even further. Yeah.
Yes?
Sure.
Doesn't mean I can't hope to find Lumpy. The shimmer of the pulsar field is visible before you. It stands in stark contrast with the foliage around it.
You see? Beautifully subtle, isn't it? At least compared to the other circuit equipment dumped down here. It's only been here a short while, or the Wookiees would have disabled it. They wouldn't have had an easy time of it.
Why place this thing here?
There are others, each blocking similar points on certain paths. It is all very calculated, very precise. It would have been effective if it hadn't relied on the creatures to be walking. Climbers don't have much trouble getting around.
I trust you can get past it?
Manipulate it for a moment. Let me see. How did the Zerg engineers do it? There we go. Now, keep moving. These are the most dangerous depths of Kashyyyk. A few surprises wait for us, I'll wager.
Nope. Mandalorians. Good job. Good job. Good show. You want to join the combat? Yeah, Jolie's lightsaber got fixed somehow. It's nice knowing what color it's supposed to be. Oh, strength gauntlets. Oh, I haven't even looked at Jolie's equipment. I should, fix that. Great Baka, let this outsider be different from the slavers. I beg you, can you heal my wounds? An attack from nowhere, please. I need to be healed. Can you? What happened here? Why can't I just heal him? Old man needs better cardio. That's why you gave him the belt. Yeah, he needs to run more. I have the means to heal you. Thank you. I would not have expected an outsider to aid me. Perhaps you will help again? My hunting party, all of them killed without honor. I barely survived. I want the murderers to suffer the same. What can you tell me about your attackers? I've never seen them before. Not even among the Zerka. You saw them. Armored head to toe, yet blending with the forest. They followed us for a long while. We found bodies to the southwest and then again further south after the west branch of the path. Their speed was amazing. They fought like outsiders, waiting until we were unarmed. They would not attack until we had put our weapons away. They strike like cowards. That is very cowardly. I thought the Mandalorians weren't like that. I'll look into it. I thank you. I will wait here. I'm too weak to fight that again, but I refuse to leave the Shadowlands until vengeance is sated. Please, if you kill them, I will reward you with whatever I can. They are not worthy of life. Look for them where the bodies of my fellows are. They only attack if you are not armed. The cowards.
Sure.
I wish my healing ability also cured poison. I get that would be too powerful, but, you know, it'd be nice. Can you nerds stop poisoning me?
Yeah?
And killing me? That would also be cool, thank you. Thank you and goodbye. I'm about to die. And I don't think I've saved lately. Maybe not. Oh hey, everyone teleported back to me. That was pretty handy. Good save, mission. Speaking of which, I'm gonna save. There's so many things over that way. Okay, Wookiee bodies.
Got something on your mind?
What? Never mind. How do I put my weapons away? Nope, don't want solo mode. I found what draws it, X. Who knows? How did... Oh, okay. I didn't see the one behind us, and I was trying to figure out how Mission got poisoned. I wonder if I've... Oh, wow. I just have... No wonder Mission is taking so much damage. She just has perfectly normal clothing put on. We'll give her Darth Bandon's armor.
Yes?
Yeah, no wonder she was dying, especially. Gotta hop off for today. Glad to say hi. Hey, it's good to see you, Catholic Brit. You take care. Hope the interviews go well. There are ancient symbols here, worn as though traced by generations of Wookiee claws. Layers of moss and dirt suggest that no one has been here in many years. The beast comes when summoned, if you are generous. It comes to battle, if you are worthy and wise. It grants you glory, if you are fearsome and brave. Feed the beast, and it will heed your call. Take vipers from their lair and hang them from above. Let the blood sent to the ground of our ancestors. Obviously, this is once a place of a great ritual importance. It looks like a place of great boss fighting. The Kashyyyk vine ascends the canopy above. There's no indication of why its growth has stopped at this point. The ground beneath is stained in years of blood, suggesting freshly killed animals have been suspended from the vine many times in the past. I don't know if that's an optional boss, or if we're going to have to do that later. Explains why we're suddenly picking up these bodies, though. See. Oh, well, that's way to just spoil it, game. Oh, you know, I bet we're gonna have to fight that thing, whatever it is, in order to, break open the wall to where the, star map is.
Never
Remember when you heard something about a creature called a Terran Tatek? I have vague recollections of that phrase. I remember being told it was dangerous. Ah yes, a Tunson Jedi. The most dangerous of prey.
I still got it.
Powers. Dominate mind. First whirlwind could be good. You might want to check Jolie's AI behavior to make sure he's set to use force powers. He's been healing. So I know he's doing that. Yeah, they'll use force powers until they run out of force points.
Sure.
No, I don't really care about those unless they attack me. I care about this dude. War of Zerka core rats. Is even the heart of Kashyyyk not free from your kind?
Almost feral after all this time. Calm yourself, Freya. We are friends. Don't you remember me?
After years in the Shadowlands, I can only I remember only that outsiders are not to be trusted. I'll see you dead.
Well, this may prove difficult.
Interesting that he's already harmed. Gonna see what happens as this combat goes on. Okay, I am beaten. Take my head, Zerka filth. You won't get another chance. So swears Freyr of Kashyyyk. I'm not here to kill you, just listen. The words of outsider are tainted lies. You can't convince me otherwise. Do you know Zalbar and Chundar? Those are the names of my sons, but they are lost to me now. One exiled, the other a traitor.
Zalbar and Chundar are brothers? And you're their father? Wait a minute, does that mean Big Z is some kind of prince or something?
Why do you speak of the names of my sons? How do you know them? Tell me! I came to Kashyyyk with Zalbar. To my shame, Zalbar was exiled and enslaved. Do you dare claim to be my son's owner, outsider? No, he follows me because of a life debt. Does he? Then he seems to be something of worth in you. I will listen cautiously. Gullibility has harmed me in the past. If I had seen the lies of Chundar, he would have been exposed as a slaver. Zalbar would not have been exiled.
Exiled? Big Z never told me that. Of course, he never said he was royalty either.
I did not believe Zalbar's claims. I believed the elder boy as tradition dictated. The shame Zalbar's attack blinded me. Go exactly over what happened with Zalbar. Zalbar saw it first. He learned that Chundar was dealing with Zerka, leading them to our hunting parties. Chundar would blame disappearances on the dangers of the Shadowlands. Zalbar was crazed when he found out. He attacked Chundar with claws. I thought he had gone mad, shed his honor. I was bound by the old ways. When did you learn the truth? a year later. By then, Shundar had spread his lies of my own madness. I had no allies when I confronted him. He and his Zerka guards attacked me. I had to retreat to the deepest Shadowlands, but even there, they followed.
When I first saw him, I helped his pursuers lose it for him. Do you remember me now, Freya?
Yes, I think I do. I'm sorry about attacking. It's been so long since I've offered my trust, or accepted that of someone else. Well, what happens now? That depends on you, Karth Devon. You either kill me or decide that I may yet benefit my people. There is a way I might challenge Shundar. It would take a lot to convince my people that they have been lied to. He has a strong web of lies, but I would appeal to the traditions of my people. They might be able to gather support. There's a legend of a great warrior in old times. Baka was his name, and he is greatly revered. Baka found a crashed starship, our first hint of life elsewhere. He was cautious, old Wook, and feared the taint of invaders. He constructed a vibroblade from the wreckage. It had long symbolized our independence. Only destined leaders have held it. Where can I find it? That is the problem. It is the symbol of our great chieftains for centuries. It was damaged a generation ago in ritual battle. Here in the Shadowlands, Rothrar fought the great beast. He sought a challenge, but his arrogance got him more than he could handle. He survived, but the blade of the sword stayed in the creature's hide. Our tales say it was taken because we had become undeserving. The hilt is still in the court of our chieftains with Shundar. If the blade could be found, Karth Devon, tradition would cast doubt on his rule. So ritual combat, sword. I think I see where this is going. I'll try to find it. Can you give me a direction? The place of ritual is south of here. If the great beast is to be lured out of hiding, must be done there, using the old ways. You've already collected the vipers of the Viper Kinra. Such bait would be tempting for the creature. Find a way to display it. I will stay here and try to think of what I will say to Zalbar. I have wronged him. I hope he can forgive me. I will be here. Please, Karth Devon, find the blade of Baka's sword. I must make things right. So Chewbacca is named after a great warrior. I did not know this. That's kind of cool, actually. Okay, we got about 20 minutes left in stream, so I believe in us to defeat this giant beast. He says, making a safety save. Yep, tie the corpse to it. The creature is easily wrapped in the vine, which doesn't distort at all under the weight. The only movement is a rustling far off in the distance. It's so shiny. Why did it approach from that side? Okay, I think it's time for some stimulants.
Yes.
Good job slowing it down, Jolie. Well, that wasn't hard. You find a blade of some sort lodged inside. Skin has grown around it. While certainly painful, it appears the blade only caused surface damage to the creature. Who knows how long it lived with this injury. He removed the blade from its corpse. It must be the one Freyr spoke of. The lost portion of Baka's sword, a powerful symbol of his people. Well, that was easy. Circlet of Suresh. Why did that thing have someone's journal on it? Okay, so that gives me a will save. Whoa, that is a sizable bonus to wisdom. Absolutely put that on, because that's gonna make my wisdom 23. So what was, really quickly for comparison, what was my will beforehand? So my will was 15. So with this Circlet of Suresh, it's still 15. Gunhush Suresh was a Twi'lek Jedi who died hunting the Terran Tatex in the comic that was made alongside KOTOR. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's a cool tie-in. Cool. Thank you for that knowledge, Brayherd. I greet you again, Karth Devin. I am humble, hoping you have found the blade of Baka's sword. Imagine Chief Freyr humble. Please tell me you have made progress. Having the blade will gain me valuable support. I have found the blade. You have? Please let me see it. I must be sure. Here, take it. I am sure it is the one. It is. It may not look like much, but it is a very important relic to my people. Tradition dictates that it must be respected. I respect your relics. I didn't think I was worthy to search for it, but I realized that was selfish despair. I should have challenged Chundar long ago. I will make amends now. I have new hope. Hey, that's a movie. You have led me to this. Perhaps this is what the Great Beast wanted. Yes, we should proceed carefully. I will climb to the surface as quickly as possible and try to gather support. You will have to follow on the paths as soon as you can, Karth Devin. When you arrive, we will confront Chundar in the throne room. My people will no longer be slaves. Okay, cool. So, we've basically solved that side plot. Because, like, we just have to, So I guess it's down here's where we need to go now. I'll put it this way. Because now we just need to go up and watch what unfolds and be like, Chundar, you're a terrible person. But we still need to find the star map. So we press forward deeper into the jungle. Hey, it's a Kinrath Pinata! Remember the force field in the middle of the jungle? No, I don't think I've seen that yet, Brayherd.
Let's see what you got.
No, I don't think we've seen that yet. Because we saw the one where that we used to enter into here. It's all good. I figure it's down here because this is the... Ah, a computer. That looks promising. As well as the giant piece of technology. The giant spaceship that's landed here. Wait, that's like a fish person.
What?
What's going on here? Oh, there's the star map. Just casually hanging out.
Life forms detected. Determining parameters. Initiating neural recognition.
Yes, there's the thing. Obstinate machine. I've no doubt it holds what you seek, but good luck getting it operational.
Primary neural recognition complete. Preliminary match found.
Match found? What the... It always muttered something about rejected patterns for me.
Begin socialized interface.
There are cheese.
Awaiting instruction. Greetings. This terminal has not been accessed for quite some time.
Why have you acknowledged me?
Subject displays unfamiliarity to environment. Behavioral reconfiguration will be needed before access. I am sorry. I did not mean to confuse you. I will answer questions to the best of my programming limitations.
What do you mean
I have
behavioral
been programmed with a
reconfiguration?
very limited field of knowledge, and I must restrict access to only those that fit my allowed pattern.
And I don't fit that pattern?
Can't say. I will try to bring forward the behavior that you need to proceed, as outlined by my programming.
That seems very helpful. I seek information about a star map.
Yes, I have found a star map in original system memory. Access is restricted.
So, what do I need to do to get access
Your
to the star
request
map?
requires additional security access. You must be made to match the parameters I have been supplied.
Go. Yeah, Mondays have the new time slot, 1:30 to 4:30. How can I match them if I don't know what they
There
are?
are measures available. Personality profiling will verify the basic structure of your conscious mind. With that, I will determine whether you are ready to receive the star map, or can be made ready.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
Information unavailable. If you have further questions, ask them now. Access will terminate with success or failure of evaluation.
I wish you may begin evaluation.
commencing. Result will be compared against the pattern in memory. Just act like you should. You travel with a Wookiee and have encountered complications. Hypothetical. You and this Zalbar are captured and separated. If you both remain silent, 1 year in prison for each of you. However, call Zalbar a traitor, and he will serve 5 years, while you serve none. He is offered the same deal. But if you both accuse the other, you both serve 2 years. What do you do? What do you trust him to do?
That's just literally the prisoner's dilemma. The best case in this scenario for both of us is to remain silent. I trust Zalbar. I would say nothing, and neither would he.
Are you sure? If you turn, you risk 2 years, or none at all. If you reply on loyalty, you risk 1 year, or 5. Your loyalty is dangerous. Your companion could take the opportunity to benefit by turning on you. Zalbar's family is mired in treachery. What loyalty do they know? Your answer is incorrect.
What? I thought this was an evaluation, not a quiz.
I must match your behavior to the pattern in memory. You must answer truthfully, knowing the consequences. I must demand honest acceptance of the proper behavior. That is a condition of my programming.
This seems weird. So I'm thinking... Do I just try to tear it apart? Let's keep going, I guess.
The previous incorrect response will be discounted. Future incorrect hypothetical. You are at war, deciphering an intercepted code. You learn 2 things about your enemy. A single spot in their defense will be at its weakest in 10 days, and they will attack one of your cities in 5 days. What do you do with this information? What is the most efficient course of action?
Well, okay. I evacuate my people from the city. I subtly reinforce the city while preparing to attack. I prepare my forces to attack in 10 days. I do nothing for the city. I reinforce and prepare to
This is
attack.
no decision. I ask again. Do you save your people or abandon them for the sake of the war? Attempting both will merely dilute your efforts. Would you trade one victory for 2 failures?
Let's take you apart to get the star map.
Matches pattern in memory, but the subject has failed to demonstrate required recognition. Access denied. This system will purge the subject as false. Defense mode initiated.
What?
See what you got.
Hey kids, you ever fail a test so hard that your teacher sent robots on you? Dang. So where did we last save? Okay, we saved just before we fought this thing. I'm gonna refight this thing, return the sword, and then we're gonna call it a day. That is unfortunate. I'm gonna read up on what that test wants. Because, like, it's weird. Because the thought of, like, doing some of the things... Oh, I need to put in some drugs. Because, like, if I choose the, like, I guess, dark side answer to those, like, what's to stop my teammates from being like, yo, what? That's not cool, and hating me? But we know where to go now, so that'll make it easier for next time. I found the blade. Here, take it. Proceed carefully. All right. So, thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to have y'all with us today. Join us again tomorrow at the 2 p.m. time slot for, more Magic the Gathering Chandalar. I'm having a lot of fun with that, so I hope you are too. And then on Thursday, we're going to be transitioning over to Spiritfarer. We're going to go back to Spiritfarer and take another look at that and keep going in its story. For the month of June, so that'll be fun. And then, not this Saturday, but next, I'll be part of a celebration called the Catholic Raid Train. So recently, fellow streamer P. Tony reached 1,000 followers, and to celebrate, he wants to do a 48-hour raid train, essentially. And so we're going to start on Game of Favorites on that Friday, which I'm actually also a guest on. It's a Father's Day themed episode, and it's Oops All Priests. And we're going to just raid from channel to channel to channel all weekend until it gets back to his channel on Monday morning. So that should be a lot of fun. So keep an eye out for that. And there's a new emote for it to go along with everyone else's Raid Train emotes on that. So it should be a lot of fun. And did I have anything else? No, I think that's it. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, joined the Discord, all that good jazz. Thank you for joining us on stream today. Let's see who's live to raid. Hey, the Halcyon Ward. Thank you for the follow. I didn't know you didn't follow already. So why don't I speaking of Petoni, I'm actually just going to send you on over that way. He's doing some old school RuneScape. So go ahead, give him a Father Evan raid shout out. Spam all those wonderful emotes. Have a great time. Take care and God bless.